So originally, this video was supposed to be about me talking about anime and recommending you guys to watch it. But ever since I read this article, I had to address it because there was this certain comment that was in that article that really pissed me off. But I mean, really pissed me off. And it's about Didio, I think that's his name, the co-publisher of DC Comics. He was basically just answering some questions that certain people were asking. Apparently they were tough questions, and in the article it says that he only answered them easily, like he barely did any thought or whatever. But either way, he still answered it, no matter what. So the link to that article is in the description below, but I will be reading the not the comments, but the answers that he gave to answer those questions and basically give you my insight on each and every question. But the one that I want you guys to pay attention the most is answer number 3. But first, let's go to answer number 1. Basically, he was trying to answer the question about creative teams leaving, or the writers, you know, walking off because of certain stuff that's been going on in DC Comics. Basically, this is what he has to say. There are always going to be writers who walk off. With social media, it's easier to get the news out. Now let me pause right there and say, if it's so easy, you know why it's so easy to get the news out? Is because you dumbasses keep on fucking up. Yes, I'm going to go as far as to say you dumbasses, because this man, Didio, or Danny, whatever the hell you want to call him, has been talking a lot of shit, a lot of stupid stuff about what he wants to do in DC Comics. And this caused a lot of writers to leave. So if you would have knocked off all the stupid stuff, maybe the so-called news wouldn't get that much recognition in social media. But that's just me. We put out 70 to 80 books a month. Really? Wow, I did not know that. So there's going to be changes. We don't only make good changes, we make some bad ones. Wow, he finally admits that they made bad decisions. That's a plus. But every change we make is based on the book. Every change we make is based on the book. So, Dan, tell me, how is it that the slutification, or making this character a slut, have anything to do with the book? Or why does that have to be based on the book? Because that was a certain change. You still don't know what I'm talking about? Look at the character Starfire. And can you please compare her before the New 52 and after? And if you don't know the comparison, let me tell you, she's more of a slut in the New 52 than she is before it. In fact, she has lost my complete respect ever since this slutification that they did to her. And apparently, that's okay. And judging by what he said, it was made, or we made it to be based on the book. Since when is making Starfire a slut have anything to do with Red Hood and the Outlaws? Seriously, what the fuck does that have to do? I remember this one issue that happened in Teen Titans. And it involved Raven mind-controlling Tim Drake, who is Red Robin, in case you guys don't know. You know, the leader of Teen Titans. And he has done a certain thing that it made me question, what does that have to do with Teen Titans in general? And that is, he went out of his way to make out with every female character or female teammate. He made out with Solace, and I believe he made out with Wonder Girl. Now, the one that pissed me off the most was when he made out with Solace. Now, what happened was, he made out with her, and then she pushed him away. And Solace asks, what about Bart Allen, who she was currently going out? I think she's still going out to this day. And all Tim Drake, who was hypnotized, had to say about that was, he is not here. And this led to, apparently, Solace go back and make out with him. what the fuck does that have to do with Teen Titans in general? Basically, from what I see in that scene, was Solus cheating on Bart. What the fuck does that have to do with Teen Titans? So now you're making Teen Titans a soap opera? The fuck? The fuck? I mean, I'm okay with Wonder Girl because she's not going out with anybody. I mean, rumor has it, or actually, no, this is actually true, she's going out with Superboy, but that only happened 10 to 12 issues after that event. So, when that happened, she wasn't going out with anybody at the time. So I'm okay with that, but what happened with Solus, that was stupid. What the hell does that have to do with Teen Titans? If every change we make is based on the book, what the hell does that have to do with Teen Titans then? Please, please, tell me that. No? Moving on. Is it going to be better for the book? Yes. Is cheating on people and slutifying certain characters better for the book? Judging by the reactions of Teen Titans fans and the reaction of Starfire being a slut, I would have to heavily disagree with you on that one. But anyway, continuing on with the comment, he says, "We try to behave properly." Behave properly. Good one. But not everyone does. True. We went through a lot of changes these last few months, but I am very happy with everybody or everyone working at DC right now. Well, I'm glad that you're happy, but your fans certainly are not. Or at least your hardcore, long-lasting friends certainly are not. But anyway, the next comment, which is the second one, it had something to do with the rape scene in Identity Crisis. Now, for those of you that did not read Identity Crisis, I kind of recommend you to search it up. I'll probably provide links in the description below, so you don't have to like do all the work and stuff. But it involved a character who I believe is the wife of Elongated Man. If you don't know who Elongated Man is, don't worry. Not a lot of people know about him. I just know that he has identical, well not identical, but similar powers to Plastic Man. Basically a competitor, but he's also a superhero. His wife got raped. I believe it was Dr. Light that raped her, and apparently they showed that in Identity Crisis. His comment to that really was, huh? This is what he had to say about that. There wasn't anybody at DC Comics that wasn't nervous about it. Okay, understandable. We wanted to do a story that was big and impactful. Also understandable, because I gotta admit, when I first read that comic book and I saw that rape scene, I was like, holy shit, they actually put that in the story? Wow, that's crazy. So I also understand about that. We feel we told that story in a way that was the most powerful, or at least that was the most powerful way, but also the most respectful. So, the most respectful. You mean to tell me that rape is respectful? That it should be respected? Because that's all he said about that. That's it. That's the whole comment to that rape scene. So, he felt like telling the story, or at least that showing that rape scene, was the most respectful. Wow. So they, or at least he, in this case, supports rape. Well, not support rape, but he respects rape. Who hired this guy again? Seriously, who really hired this guy? Because I want to have a talk to that guy. But anyway, okay. This is the one that pissed me off. This comment right here. And it had something to do with his comment about marriage, or the company's stance on marriage in their books. Oh, get ready, because this is some heavy shit here. There are rules, and there are expectations. Okay. When we speak, we have to speak in generalities. I think that's the way how he's trying to say it. We're telling superhero stories. Okay, so your comment on marriage was that you don't believe that marriage should exist in DC Comics. Well, or at least it wasn't like that, but it kind of led a lot of people to believe it that way. And it did look like you wanted no marriage to happen in your comics. So, just because you're telling a superhero story, what does that have to do with not having marriage in the story? I mean, in my history of reading comics, or at least superhero stories, most of them are ongoing. The story keeps progressing. That means the characters will also keep progressing. They will grow. They will, I don't know, age, maybe. So obviously marriage has to play a role. Not to mention, if you're going to implement romance in there, there has to be marriage. There just has to be. If you're going to keep on going with the story, there has to be marriage. So, just because of telling a superhero story, that is the most lamest excuse for saying we don't want marriage. That is a lame excuse. But anyway, he goes on and says, when comics were at the biggest peak, the personal lives of the characters were at their smallest. That is a goddamn lie. This proves that you do not read comics. This proves it. This really proves it. Anybody remember the golden age of comics where they introduce these new characters, these out of the blue characters, like, oh my god, who is Superman? This person who has powers that we never seen before. Or Batman, who does some crazy shit during the night. Or Wonder Woman, the first female superhero. Or at least that's what I believe she is, right? I think she is the first female superhero. But anyway, that's for a different time. You know, during the Golden Age, we were so introduced to so many superheroes, or at least back at that time, because I wasn't alive during that time. But I would have to assume that a lot of people was amazed to see these new superheroes. Not to mention, also during the Golden Age of comics, the superheroes were fighting World War II. So their personal lives were kind of affected. Especially characters like Superman and Wonder Woman. Because I believe most of the story that revolves around Superman has Lois in it. Has Martha and what's his name? Thomas Kent. Wait, was it Thomas Kent? No. Was it? Thomas Kent. I don't believe that's his name. Martha and Thomas Kent. Wow. I don't think that's his name. I don't think that's his adopted father's name, but you get what I mean. His adoptive parents, even his real biological parents, it had something to do with them, and they explained it early on, and they went in depth with it. Same goes with Batman. They went in depth with his parents. They went in depth with his personal life, which is amazing because nowadays we barely see his personal life anyway, which is sad. But yeah, they went in depth with it. So this statement saying when comics were at their biggest peak, the personal lives of these characters were at their smallest. You know you're bullshitting, right? You're really bullshitting. I don't care what anybody says, you're fucking bullshitting. But anyway, he goes on and says, and I have to say, this is the most childish comment I have ever seen a grown man say. I don't want to read a book about marriage. You don't want to read a book about marriage, so I guess Archie Comics is out of the question. Wow. Not to mention, you're too immature to read about marriage. Like, you gotta remember, comic books isn't only targeted to little kids. They're also targeted to teenagers and adults as well. Especially if you're gonna introduce the dark and depressing atmosphere of the New 52. So I don't see how not having marriage is a good thing. In fact, having marriage is a bad thing. I don't see that. Seriously. Not to mention a comment saying, I don't want to read a book about marriage. What about the people who do want to read about a book about marriage? What about them? Oh, no. You don't give a shit about them. Of course not, because what I say has to go, right? I'm in control of DC Comics. I'm the co-motherfucking publisher of DC Comics. What I say goes. Apparently, that's what's supposed to be about. Or at least, that's what he is enforcing. If I don't want this to happen, it should not happen. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Well, watch out, we got a badass over here, because apparently nothing we say affects his judgment. Let me tell you this. If you're not willing to put marriage, why the fuck are you making your female characters sluts? Seriously, just a simple question. If you're willing to implement sex scenes, or similar, or at least, like, stuff that leads into sex scenes, why are you not able to implement marriage? Why is marriage all of a sudden the taboo of DC Comics? Seriously? Seriously? Oh my god. I'm already getting a headache over this. I'm really getting a headache. Anyway, he goes on and says, what I want to read is how people are trying to balance all the aspects of their lives. Now, key phrase here, you said balance. Balance their lives. So I would have to assume that they're trying to balance their superhero lives and their personal lives. If you're only focusing on their superhero lives, what the hell is the whole point of the balance that you say in this comment? Not to mention, I did remember another comment that you said before, that superheroes should not have happy personal lives. Not to mention, you also said that it should also not be the main focus, or at least that's what this comment right here that says, when comics were at the biggest peak, the personal lives of the characters were at the smallest. You're supporting the fact that allegedly the comics back then didn't focus on the characters' personal lives. You're supporting that. So how is there a balance in their lives? How is there? There is no balance, because they're focusing on their superhero lives. Not to mention, not everybody wants to see what they do when they dress up for Halloween. We want to know what happens when they're not dressing up. We want to know what happens in their daily lives. What does Superman do when there's no crime fighting? Does he just sit down, chillax, watch some anime? I don't know. What does Batman do? Play some poker with Joker? Wow, that actually rhymed. I don't know. Go to a strip club or something? What does he do? I want to know that. Not to mention, I'm not the only one that feels this way. So, where is this alleged balance that you're trying to implement in DC Comics? Because I don't see it. I seriously do not see it. Oh my god. Anyway, next comment. Well, not next comment. He actually goes on and says, there has to be a sacrifice for being a hero. Or at least to being a hero. If not, why isn't everybody in this room going out and saving somebody from a burning building? Okay. Okay. You see what I hate about that comment? You're trying to say that everybody has to have a sacrifice. So, okay. Since this comment that you mentioned before, that a character cannot have a happy personal life, so you're trying to tell me let's have every character become Batman. Because let's be honest, Batman is an isolator. He is a loner. He doesn't want to be with people. He works alone, or at least he prefers to work alone. And let's be honest, he kind of condemns relationships. He does. So you want every character to act this way because that's his sacrifice. That's his or her sacrifice for being a hero. Just because Bruce Wayne wants to isolate himself from society doesn't mean that Dick Grayson, even though I hate him, has to do that. It doesn't work that way. Not to mention, there is no uniqueness for the characters if everybody acts the same way. Why should I care about any of these characters? Why should I even buy multiple books if they're gonna act this way? This goes the same with every character having to have a tragic backstory. Well, not tragic backstory, but be all dark, be all depressing and stuff. That's why I didn't like characters, or at least the handlement of Beast Boy, because I used to laugh at his jokes. I used to have a good time reading about his adventures, but not anymore. He's so depressing. He's so, I don't know what the hell you call him anymore. Not to mention, Scott Liddell doesn't care about him. I want to shoot that guy so badly. So freaking badly. He's like the real life Nightwing for me. I'm sorry. I personally have nothing against Scott Levine. I just think his work is so goddamn horrible. Alright, proceeding. Oh, wait. One more thing. I want to mention. Anybody remember Spider-Man? You know, from Marvel. Does anybody remember his personal life? you know, we were introduced to supporting characters like Mary Jane, Aunt May. I forgot that blonde chick's name, Gwen Stacy, and this one guy who is, I'm not sure if he's the boss or something, but he works at the Daily Bugle. I forgot what's his name. J. Jonah Jameson. Forgot about that guy. I love that guy. How much you want to bet if Marvel goes the DC way and doesn't focus on Peter Parker's personal life, we probably won't be introduced to any of these characters? So, that's sad. That's bad, actually, because when it comes to Peter Parker's personal life, it was so interesting. It's not even only Peter Parker, it's other characters as well. You know, like the Incredible Hulk, or what's his name, Bruce Banner. Not so much Captain America. I really don't care about him. Sorry, anybody who's a fan of Captain America. I really don't care about him. Tony Stark, what he does without the Iron Man suit. I care. And I'm pretty sure a lot of Marvel fans do. Same thing with the people who like X-Men. What did they do when they're not saving the day? I'm pretty sure a lot of people care about that. But apparently DC does not care about that. So we should all just be okay with that. Apparently. Next and last comment that I see in this article, I think it is. Yeah, this is the last comment. And it talks about his headline stance on marriage, basically. Again, but it actually focuses on suggesting that some characters might get married later, and he also explains why he doesn't want to rush things. This is what he has to say. We want surprises. We want things to happen that may be unexpected with relationships or romances. Now, I get that. You want to introduce drama. I get that, but there's a fine line to how much drama you want to introduce, because I don't want my comics, or at least the comics that I read, to end up like a soap opera. I don't want my mom to enjoy what I read. No, I don't want that to happen. I don't want this shit to end up like the next Telemundo. No, no, I don't want that shit. So I respect that. You want more drama? Okay, I'm good with that. I'm really good with that. Also, I like that comment, or at least the next comment that he says. I kind of like it because it explains about stable relationships. This is what he has to say. What we ask in general is that we don't want any of our characters rushing into stable relationships. Basically, ones that are committed, the ones that it's kind of hard to break up. Basically, relationships where certain people deserve each other and they're in a relationship, and you know this is going to last for like a long time, like Superman and Lois Lane. People said Batman and Catwoman, but that still didn't last long, sadly. Barry Allen and Iris. I think that's Iris. Is that her name? Yeah. It is Iris. Arthur, or at least Aquaman and Queen Mira. Who else? Hal Jordan, and I heard it was, what the hell was her name? Wow, it escapes my mind now. Okay, but you get what I mean. Like those characters that once they get hitched, it's obviously, well, not hitched, but get together, it's obvious that they're not going to break up anytime soon. They're going to last a long time. I get that you don't want to rush it, which I support it, because my One True Pairing is an example of a stable relationship, and it happened before the New 52. They lasted for, I believe it was 8 years. Well, they went out for like a few issues, then they broke up, but the whole relationship still lasted 8 years. They loved each other, they liked each other, and then they rekindled right before the New 52. If you don't know my One True Pairing, then you haven't been watching my videos in my channel, so I'm not gonna say it again. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know, so I'm really not gonna go in depth with that. But anyway, you know what I mean. But the next comment that he mentions really is like, seriously? Seriously? The only character we have married is Buddy Baker, Animal Man, who is Animal Man. By the way, I highly suggest you read his comics, or at least that character story, or at least, you know what I mean, Animal Man comics. It's freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. I love it. I really do. But anyway, he says that he's the only character that they managed to marry only because it was part and parcel or parcel of the character. Basically, it was meant to happen. It was part of his story, you know, and it was part of his character. So then, Dan Didio, what about Aquaman and Queen Myra, or Mira, whatever? What about them two? I mean, we do have the King of the Sea, and we do have a queen. Not to mention, they are a king and queen in the comic, so I've heard. And I also heard that they're best friends. That they have no romantic relationships with each other. So then how the fuck are they king and queen then? You have to be married, from what I heard. Especially throughout the history of kings and queens, they have to be married in order for them to even be called a king and queen in their magical kingdom or whatever the hell they live in. But you get what I mean. How is Animal Man an exception, but not Aquaman and Queen Mira? What the fuck? Do you listen to the shit that you say? Seriously? Oh my god. Dan Didio is a huge example of why I hate now DC Comics, or at least the decisions that they're trying to do within the company. I don't know what the fuck is going on, unless they kick him out. I'm sorry, yes, kick him out. Kick out Scott Liddell. If not, then teach him how to make a fucking story. Please. Please, before I freaking choke myself. Oh my god. Teach him how to make a story. Or kick him out, whichever one suits best. I prefer kicking him out, but whatever. Also kick out some of the editors, because some of the editors' decisions are really stupid. Are fucking stupid. Who supports this shit? Oh my god! Apparently everybody that works in DC. Everybody that works in DC supports this shit. What? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You know what? You know what? You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. Because obviously they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit at this point because the New 52 has been going on for at least almost 3 years now. So they don't give a shit. So why should I give a shit? I'm not quitting DC Comics because I'm still waiting for certain shit to happen. For example, I want to see how far Scott Liddell, I think that's his last name, or that's how you pronounce it. Scott Liddell, how he ruins Teen Titans. Or I'm waiting for them to kick his ass out. I'm still waiting for that. I'm also waiting to finish reading Forever Evil. And I'm also waiting to see if there is a change, because I still have hope for this company. Surprisingly, yes, I still have hope for this company. And if there is no hope, then I wish that Marvel will welcome me with open arms, because I will immediately go to Marvel. If not, I'll go to anime. I don't give a shit. I'm going to somewhere. Somewhere. Fuck that shit. Anyway, oh my god, what do you guys think about all this? Do you agree with any of the shit that I mentioned in this video? Do you agree with Dan Didio? Do you even like the New 52? Do you hate it? Anything. Just anything. Anything. Just post. You can even post apples in the freaking comment section. I don't give a shit anymore. This guy lost all care for me. He does. Or at least he got me. Whatever. Look at this. My grammar is so off now. Oh my god. You know what? You know what? My name is Bizkit. Have a freaking nice day. I am stressed as a motherfucker. Damn. But anyway, see you guys later. Peace out. There was something I was supposed to address, but I completely forgot. But now that I've remembered, I decided to put it towards the end of the video, so then that way I don't have to put it in the comment section or anything. And it revolves Danny Didio's comment on his company's stance on marriage. And one of the comments that he mentioned was, there are rules and there are expectations. What he meant by that was that his goal, or his so-called rule, is to keep the characters the same, so then that way future readers can recognize and enjoy them. I get that. But there is one big problem to your so-called rule. If that's what you wanted, then please, can you answer this for me? What the hell was the whole point of retconning and rebooting your franchise? Or your so-called universe? What the hell was the whole point of that? I said this once, actually not once, probably 3 times, and this is the last time I'm going to address it. What the fuck was the point of the new 52. I rest my case.